Good morning, vets. How you guys doing? Well, it's almost noon, but it's still 11:05 my time. So hopefully everybody's doing well today. So I want to do a couple of Q and A's, taking it back old school, no edits, no nothing, just me talking. Okay. Okay. So the first question I was asked about was the Social Security Fairness Act. Am I aware of it? What do I know about it? Where can I find information about it? Okay. So there's two places you can find information about it. Actually, there's many places, but if you're looking to get the complete summary of everything, you can go to congress.gov or go to your search engine, whichever one it is, Google, Safari, Firefox, or many other ones, and put in Social Security Fairness Act. And if you're using Google, you will see all of the different newspapers, television shows, your local news, they all have done a story on the Social Security Fairness Act, okay? What do I know about it? Well, I know that there is two different provisions in there where there's roughly 70 million people who are receiving Social Security. This Social Security Fairness Act is only going to affect roughly about 3 million people, okay? So I know that there's the WEP, which is the windfall elimination provision, and there's the GPO, which is the government pension offset. Okay, so there's really two different groups that is really going to help. The WEP group, which is basically your city workers, your state workers, and your federal workers, and people who had a pension that was not covered by Social Security. This act would allow them to get paid more based upon what they actually earn versus the provision in there that basically takes almost 2/3 of what they get from their Social Security. So people like KMAC who work for their city, or like Steele who work for the government, or Warrior who works for the government, these people would get an increase, okay, if they fell into the category of not being covered, like their pension doesn't cover Social Security. So they would get a nice little windfall right there. The other category, which is the GPO, the government pension offset, that's more for people, again, that had jobs where the pension didn't cover them, and for survivors benefit. That's mainly who's going to benefit from that one the most are survivors, right? Widowers, where if they're receiving government money and they're getting that offset, they're getting the survivor benefits as well. They're losing almost 2/3 of the money that they get. So with this provision, if it goes through, they would get that money back, okay? So that's what I know about those two things when it comes to the Social Security Act. It basically benefits those groups. So if you're not in that group, it's really not going to benefit you. Okay, so that's why out of 70 million people who are receiving Social Security, only roughly helps about 3 million people total out of that, all right? What do I know as far as the problem and how long it takes? Well, Congress has until December 31st. Well, the Senate, it already passed the House, so it has to go to the Senate. The Senate's looking at it right now, which they have up until December 31st. After December 31st, it dies in the Senate. Okay, could they bring it back up? Sure. This new section of Congress that's coming in, if they don't pass it now, they can pass it as soon as they get sworn in. It's up to them. But for right now, it's being held up in the Senate. They could pass it the way it is. They could add some more provisions to it, send it back to the House, let it get voted on again. Then they vote on it and send it to the president. So there's many different directions this could actually go in. All right. As far as I know, issues, and this is from watching the local news and reading in the papers, just doing a little bit of research, there's two main issues, okay? The first main issue is how they're going to pay for it, because it's almost $200 billion in a 10-year span, okay? Where is that money going to come from to replace that $2 billion? That's the first question. And then the second one is people who were high-income earners do not like this at all, because high income earners, okay, people who made, not the millionaires and billionaires, but the people who made six figures starting at 100,000 or more, your Social Security is calculated at a much lower number than people who are at the lower end. They get calculated at a much higher number. So if you're one of those people, you're going, well, hold up. How are these people who don't even pay into the system going to get this much more, and we still stuck at the same amount, and we're paying taxes on top of it? So that's the holdup right now. It's easy to pass something knowing that the other group or the other person in charge is probably not going to pass it. But when both houses are Republican going into next year, you're going to see if they really want to pass it. Because honestly, I don't think they're going to pass it the way it's currently constructed. I honestly think they're going to add some type of provisions or something to it, send it back to the House, let them vote on it again, and then send it back to the Senate for it to be voted on, and then send it to the president. That's my opinion, okay? I think sometimes next week you will see they're going to add some type of provision, unless they've done it already, and send it back to the House. All right, that's my prediction for that. Okay, second question. Okay, you're wanting more information about the SAH grant. Okay, I've already done 3 videos, 2 pre-recorded videos, 1 live video, and I mentioned this in the live that I did on Tuesday. So I'm not exactly sure what more you're looking for at this point, because I'm not building a house. I'm not remodeling a house. I am looking to purchase a property. So this is what I'm going through real time as I explain it, from the video 1, the video 2, and the live video I did, plus the video I did on Tuesday, and now the video I'm doing now on Thursday. So I am currently in the process of, I've given my counselor buildings to look at, like the retirement community I showed in that video, a couple of other properties that I showed, and which one would best fit, or if none of them fit, tell me something else that I can do, because here is very different than the US. Okay, the codes here are different. The way they build homes are different. The access point getting in and out with a wheelchair is going to really be the biggest issue here, right? That's because most places are not set up for wheelchair access here. They're not, just being honest, they're not. And that's one of the main things that they look for with the SAH grant is you're possibly going to be in a wheelchair in the future. So we want to make sure that wherever you're going, wherever you're moving to, is future proof. Meaning, if you are in a wheelchair, how are you going to get in and out? If there's an emergency, how are you going to get in and out? The one thing about that one community that I sent was they have an infirmary. So if there's an issue, you can go down to that infirmary. Or as far as escape, the balconies, there's like 3 apartments that all share one giant balcony. So the idea is, if there's an issue in your apartment, you should be able to go to one of the other 2 to get out that way. That seems to be the way they do it here. Will that fly for them? I don't know. I have my doubts, because they're looking more for like you to be on the first floor, and there being a back door for you to get out of. Well, like I mentioned, I think I did this in a short as well. Homes here are not really designed that way. They're usually designed with the front door, they have windows, but the back area is normally closed off. If you have any friends here, or you know anyone here that lives in like some of these homes here, they don't have back doors. Most of them don't. Unless it's a really custom built house or a multi-million-dollar home, you're not going to have a back door here. They're going to have an open ventilation area where you can see straight up, right? Like you can actually look up to the sky, because they may have a little bird cage across the top of an atrium. But as far as being able to get out that way, no. And the reason why they do that is for safety. They don't want you to get robbed. That's the whole purpose of why they do that. So you either going to be on the second floor. Most apartment complexes start at the second floor and they work their way up. Or if you're on the ground floor, you're not going to have access to the back. Like your backyard is enclosed. Most backyards in these homes are enclosed. So that's just the way they do it here. So I'm having to explain that and show them pictures and different things of how that works. So I don't know. At this point, I'm at a standstill trying to figure out what it is they want to do, you know, from this point. So whatever they come up with is what I got to go with. It may turn out that I can't use it here at all. And if that's the case, that's fine. I may end up doing something in the States that I had mentioned before or in another country. I don't know. But I'm trying it here first. I I would like to have this as my home base if possible. If not, I'm fine doing what I'm doing here. I've been doing it for years. It doesn't hurt me to do it. Now that I have my residency visa, if I want to go somewhere that is not as expensive as here, I got the option to. If I want to move to wherever else, I got the option to. So that's one other thing that I plan on doing is traveling more inside the country, right? And just for a couple of different reasons. For one, just to get more familiar, because there might be other areas out there, or there might be other homes that I'm not aware of in some of these cities. And while I'm in these cities, I can see what they offer and if that's going to be a fit. Because there's a city just like this one. It's just smaller. Weather's the same. It's not as hilly, and I've been there before, which is Bucaramanga. Bucaramanga, the weather is just like here. Damn near exact to the T. It's just not as hilly and it's not as big. But that's my biggest thing with living in different areas is the weather. I don't want to go anywhere where it's cold, that's out, or it can be hot. Like Arizona, I don't care. It can be hot like that, but I just don't want it to be cold. My goal for the rest of my life is to never wear pants again, and so far so good living here. So if I do get the opportunity to move somewhere else, that's another goal, okay? Other than that though, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll probably drop another video on Friday, which is tomorrow, about the live show for Saturday. There shouldn't be any issues starting, at the regular time at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. for those of you who are Central Time, and West Coast, 8 p.m. So looking forward to that. Got a lot of new stuff to talk about that has come out along with the Social Security Fairness Act. If anybody has any more questions about that, I'll try to fill you in as much as I know. But that's going to be it for now. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching as always, guys. And until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.